Hi, Astri. Thank you for your patience. And here we are finally with your essays. Now, this is the essay about green energy. I like your color coding of important ideas in the task. This is very, very important, and this is very efficient in terms of thinking about the planning. Now, let's see what you wrote here. Despite the increasing popularity of green energy throughout the world, scientists have been debating whether it significantly reduces costs and is better for the environment, or it is actually a threat to energy security. I disagree with the latter statement because besides being less expensive, I wouldn't say besides, I would say apart from being less expensive and more environmentally friendly than fossil fuels, natural sources exist in many forms and they're easily replenished. Okay, I wouldn't just stop here like they're easily replenished. They are virtually endless, right? Meaning that using them can actually ensure energy security. Beautiful, beautiful formulation. This is probably the best formulation for this essay that I have ever seen. This essay will discuss these issues. I think you can say this essay will discuss the above-mentioned issues, just to avoid these repetition, using examples from the International Renewable Energy Agency and Brazil to support arguments. Okay, examples from this agency and examples from Brazil, and let's say Brazilian Ministry of Energy, something like this. On the one hand, sustainable sources such as sunlight and sea tides, we also say ocean tides, and not only sea, right? Because many countries use the ocean waves, not only the sea waves, are becoming more popular due to the fact that they are relatively cheap and harmless for the environment. Well, completely harmless, yes. In the last few years, the cost is even decreasing. I would say their cost is even decreasing since many governments invest a high budget in the development of technologies to generate electricity from such resources. Absolutely flawless. The IRENA estimated that in 2020, the price of green energy would be lower than that of fossil fuels. Okay, beautiful. Additionally, how about a linking expression here? Not necessarily, for example, you can say in this context, the IRENA estimated that somehow, I would say, I mean, if this were my essay, I would say in this context. Additionally, studies from this organization found that solar what? Sun and waves, that the use of solar energy and waves produces no air pollution. These examples clearly show that renewable energy technologies are cheaper and a better option than oil or coal. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but mind the minor corrections. On the other hand, it concerns some people. Why don't we make this passive? Some people are concerned, and this would be much more appropriate for an essay, for the style of an essay, right? Because we're using passive, we are showing that the focus on the action, on the concern that the usage of green resources, I won't say green resources, renewable resources, yes, or of natural energy resources, but again, we end up in using the word energy too often, might threaten energy security based on experiences from fossil fuels. Nations that are dependent on imported oil are more vulnerable because they might run out of supply if there is conflict or disaster that involve exporter countries. Beautiful. Though I wouldn't use, I'm being very, very picky. You see, like this is being extremely picky, but this is the little thing that would separate a band 9 from a band 8.5 or 8. I don't think that in such a beautiful academic essay, we should use a phrasal verb. For example, you could use the beautiful word deplete or its noun depletion to say what you mean to say. For example, because these, let's say, sources might become depleted, or no, wait a second, this is supply. These countries are more vulnerable because if the supply stops And because the supply will stop if there's conflict or disaster. Okay, the supply will stop or the supply will cease. Okay, so depletion is not this case. Nevertheless, such condition is unlikely to occur when utilizing sustainable sources, since a variety of them are available, such as solar, hydropower, geothermal, and biofuels, such as, let's say, sun rays, hydropower, geothermal power, and biofuel power. So, or you can say solar, hydro, geothermal, and biofuel power at the end. For example, using bioethanol, beautiful, which is produced from the fermentation process of carbohydrate in sugarcane or corn, is common in Brazil and allows them the Brazilians, okay, logical, to be less dependent on oil in many areas, including industry, I would say industries, just to generalize, and transportation. Okay. But you need special cars for bioethanol, don't you? Finding native resources, beautiful, and optimizing their usage has been suggested as a way to prevent energy vulnerability. How about thus? Yes, and you say you're suggesting, look, guys, this is the solution. So thus, look at everything I have presented. This is the solution to avoid energy vulnerability. Absolutely beautiful, totally appropriate, complex. You're the first person again who mentions bioethanol. I mean, I have read quite a bit of essays on green energy, but yeah, this is very, very relevant. And I think I would like, if I were a writing assessor, I would give you something very close to 8 or 9 in terms of task achievement, because you are answering the topic very appropriately with great detail or with great knowledge of topic. So yeah, absolutely awesome. In conclusion, based on the above mentioned examples and explanations, I firmly believe that using green resources for power, I would say for electrical power, because we have the word power everywhere, is cheaper, more environmentally friendly, and can ensure, I would say, and does ensure, or let me, again, I'm being very picky, right? Because you're a great writer, so I want to make you awesome. And does secure energy security. Did I say secure security? Forgive the schoolwoman. And does, no, let's stick to ensure. Okay, just the emphatic does would be very, very appropriate here, because you are underlining the fact that, yes, energy security is absolutely there. Great essay, but there's only one big thingy. Look at the size. So my Microsoft Word counter, and it's right here in the left lower left corner. You can't see it. It's outside the range of the screencast. It says 362 words. 362. 362 out of 250. Do you see this 250? So you're supposed to have at least 250. 300 is okay. 300 is okay. More than 300 is not very advisable. You have like 110 words and 12 words more. Just make sure that you don't write this much. Well, I personally could suggest that you reduce some structures in the introduction, and again, you could play with some structures in this body paragraph, and perhaps you could reduce a couple of tens of words. Okay, now the map. Beautiful, the map. The map shows the situation before and after the development of an island. Perfect, development keyword. Before the development, the island was empty. I would say deserted, or, okay, except for natural trees. Well, trees are natural. You can say except for trees growing naturally and the beach on the left side. Well, currently, I think this semicolon is a typo. It has a lake. I would say there is a lake. There is a lake, new buildings, and accommodation areas. Okay, good. Well, another perspective on this map, just before you go on, is that this is the plan for development. So, and you see the developers are showing their plans how to what they intend to build there. So this can also be a description written in the future, in the hypothetical a bit. Okay, the picture of the developed island shows two accommodation areas, one of which is located nearby the beach, and the other just beside the lake. The former is passed by a footpath, I would say crossed or intersected, even better, by a footpath that allows people to go from the beach to the mall, or to, let's say, I wouldn't say navigate, but somehow the word navigate comes to my mind. The latter has, okay, let me see. Sometimes I'm slow. Oh, no. The latter has footpaths that link houses with each other. The latter what? The mall? Oh, no, the former area. Okay, and then you need to say the latter area. Okay. Or instead of area, you can say zone. Has footpaths that link houses to each other. Moreover, the lake. I wouldn't say moreover, I would say further. The lake is a new feature located on the right side of the island. You can also use north, south, east, west. A shopping mall, a five-star hotel, and a restaurant are placed between the housing regions. I would say the residential regions, with vehicle tracks surrounding the mall and connecting each of these buildings. Another track links the restaurant to the nearby residences. Okay. Finally, there's a pier to attract sailors to stop by the island and at the same time to allow people to enjoy a closer view of the sea. Very nice, very nice. Is this enough? 176. Perfect, perfect, acceptable. I told you how else this could be interpreted, because there's a tendency to interpret this visual more as a plan, so hence a plan for the future. So the grammar perspective is going to change a bit, but this is a very nice answer anyway. I really like the way your coherence, but just mind the fact that sometimes you need linking words, and here a linking word would be necessary too. I'm going to leave it up to you to decide which one to use. Because here you speak about the lake and then you move on to speak about the shopping mall and the rest of the buildings, right? The rest of the facilities. Yes, why not? I don't think I have seen the word facilities here. Okay. Yes, this is a very nice answer. This is a very, very good answer. You have very good writing style, very good eye for detail, and very good understanding of the task. Just when you brainstorm, make sure that you explore all the possibilities of understanding the visual, because, things can happen. Okay, great job. Absolutely great job. Work on your accuracy mostly. Work on the small things. You see, like here, like prepositions. I can see that prepositions are a bit of an issue, especially here. Relative pronouns are sometimes an issue. Linking words are also sometimes tricky. But other than that, you have impressive range of vocabulary and grammar. Just make sure that accuracy keeps up to the level. So, all the best of luck further, and let us know if you want to go on with the 9-pack of essays.